Hi, Sketch Up friends. Well, today we're drawing something spooky and sweet. A cute candy corn bat. This one's super easy and so much fun to color. So I'm going to make 2 dots. That determines the height of this candy corn. Now I'm going to go ahead and start curving this line out to the left. And you can see it's a little bit of a triangular shape. So it's a little bit wider at the bottom. I'm going to do the same thing on this side. Start curving a line out to the right. Just kind of go back over the shape a little bit. Alright, so now we've got the shape where we want it, and obviously that's the most important part, making sure it looks like a candy corn. So I'm curving these lines down. These are called cross contour lines, so they curve around the form. Well, I think if Batman had a sweet tooth, this little guy would be his sidekick. So we're going to go ahead and draw the expressions. We're doing this kawaii style. So I'm going to leave the white highlight inside of the eye. I was going to say, who needs vampires when you've got candy corn with wings? Okay, so I'm going to curve a line down a little bit. And then I'm going to curve another line down to create the mouth. I'm going to curve a line up for a tongue. And then I'm going to draw 2 triangles for the teeth. Add those eyebrows. So it's spooky and sweet. So now we got that cute expression on our character. So I'm going to start the bat ears. So I want you to pay attention to the size relationships in the drawing. How big is the ear in relationship to the candy corn? Now I'm just going to follow that same outline. We're going to add a little fur inside of the ear. And so I'm going to curve a line out to the right, and I'll curve a line out to the right again. Alright, so now we're going to draw the left ear. So I made those 2 marks to determine how big this ear was going to be. Same thing, just follow that outline. And then the fur inside of the ear, we're going to go ahead and draw a line that curves out to the left, and then another line that curves out to the left. And this is a really fun and easy one to color with Posca markers. But if you don't have Poscas, you can still use whatever you have. We're using colors value today. So it actually makes this character look 3-dimensional. So for the wing, I curved line up, that little line up. Now I curve line to the right. And now I'm curving these 2 lines up to finish off that wing. And I'm going to draw a line down. Okay, so we're going to draw a line that curves up. We'll curve a line out to the left. Then we're going to draw these two lines that curve up. With those cool bat wings. Alright, so the feet, we're going to draw two lines down. And then we're going to draw three lines that curve down. So I think this bat prefers sugar rushes over blood rushes. And once again, three lines that curve down. So now's a good time to stand back and check your workout, make any adjustments as needed. I'm just going to add these rosy cheeks for another cute added detail. And I'm going to outline with Sharpie marker for my outlines, and on the inlines, I'm going to use a micron for the eyes and the mouth. So the micron is a fine tip marker. And so I put down my base colors first. So I have ivory, yellow, orange, and yellow. And so for the shadow, I have yellow ochre, orange, and beige. And for the browns, I have brown and cacao brown. And so those are the two values I used, the lighter and the darker values. And now I'm just going to go ahead and refresh this outline. Well, if you enjoyed this video, check out more of my How to Draw Halloween videos. I'll see you in the next one. Bye. Hi, Sketchlab friends. Today we're drawing a spooky sweet Pikachu donut. We'll use Posca paint markers to make it bright, cute, and a little creepy, just like our candy corn bat. Grab your markers and let's jump into this Halloween kawaii art tutorial. So I curved a line out to the left and then to the right. So we're starting off with the shape of the donut. The right-hand side is closer to us, so that's why I drew that line a little larger on the right-hand side. I just curved a line down. And now I'm going to go ahead and curve a line up. And so this is a cool jack-o'-lantern donut that Pikachu's on top of today. And so when we make the frosting, we're going to make it look like a jack-o'-lantern. So I just curved a line down. And I want to repeat that, curving a line down. And these are called cross contour lines. They curve around the form. So now it makes this look more three-dimensional. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and start adding the frosting. And at the same time creating the expression of this jack-o'-lantern. So Pikachu said trick or treat and somehow ended up as the treat today. So to create this expression, we're using wavy lines and we're also using stepped zigzag lines as well for the teeth. I'm going to go ahead and clean up some of these construction lines. Well, you know it's Halloween when Pikachu turns into donut decor. So we're going to go ahead and draw these triangles. And we're going to use this stepped zigzag line at the bottom here to create the teeth. All right. Just cleaning up those construction lines. All right, we're going to start putting in some of the basic shapes for Pikachu. This first shape, I'm going to just make it as a gumdrop. It creates the body of Pikachu. Just cleaning up these construction lines now. And you can see we're using overlapping. So Pikachu's now closer to us. And now this is going to be the shape to start Pikachu's head. So as we were doing this, we're also paying attention to the size relationships. So how big are these shapes in relationship to each other? Now I curved the line out to create the cheek. So Pikachu's head is in 3/4 view. Curving a line out to the right. And then back out to the left. Once again, paying attention to the size relationships. How big is that ear in comparison to Pikachu's head? And now curving a line up. Then back out to the right. Create the marking on top of the ear. Just kind of going back over that shape for the head. Well, if you think Pikachu is cute now, wait until he glows like a jack-o'-lantern. Okay, so we're adding these little ovals for the feet. And you can see now we're using overlapping. So we're overlapping these shapes. So now it looks like the feet are closer to us. And now we're noticing that Pikachu is becoming more three-dimensional. And erasing out those construction lines. All right, so we're going to draw the arms. So I curved a line down and then out to the left. And then I'm just using a zigzag line to create the fingers. Curving line out to the left. out to the right, and then once again using the zigzag line for fingers. Okay, so here's the tail. Once again, using a stepped zigzag line. I think next time we're going to have to teach Pikachu how to share the frosting. So we're going to go ahead and add a circle. This one here is going to be a little bit larger because it's closer to us. So we're talking about the use of size. This one's smaller. So it's just like you can draw trees big to small off in the distance. Now I'm curving a line out to the left. Once again, this is a cross contour line. And this is just reinforcing that Pikachu's head is turned to the left. And we'll use that line to place the nose. And for the mouth, we have two lines that curve down. And then we're going to draw another line that curves down. Drew a line that curved up for the tongue. And now I'm going to draw the circles for the cheeks. So now's a good time to stand back from your artwork, make any adjustments as needed, maybe clean up some construction lines. So I'm outlining with a Sharpie, and then I'm also going to use a micron today for the finer detailed outlining. I also added some thickness into the triangles. So we're going to be using color as value today. So I'm starting off with the base color of yellow, using red and coral pink. Now I'm adding the shadows with orange, and then this is the bright yellow now. So just by using two values, you can see we're adding depth and dimension. So we have apricot and then brown. And then yellow ochre for the shadows on Pikachu. Well, I'll catch you in the next video. Hey artists, today on Sketch Lab for Kids, we're drawing a Frankenstein Cupcake. It's spooky, it's sweet, and it's super fun to color with Posca markers. So let's get started. So we're going to start off with these two dots. We're going to draw foreshortened circles. So we're going to start off at the base of the cupcake. Now we're going to draw the sides of the cupcake wrapper. They taper down so they get closer together at the bottom. And now you see this line at the top, we want to match it. We draw the base of the cupcake. So I think somebody mixed up too much sugar with lightning. And boom, Frankenstein Cupcake was born. Okay, so we're going to start establishing the shape for the top of the cupcake. All right, now we're going to start adding the frosting. You can see we're using these curved lines that are dripping and overlapping. And we're going to have a second layer of frosting. So this is the green layer. And then now we're going to add a purple layer of frosting. And you can see how it's overlapping. That's a technique for creating space, making a flat piece of paper appear to be three-dimensional. So now's a good time to erase off some of these construction lines, clean up your work a little bit. Well, I think this cupcake meows at midnight. Don't worry, it only wants sprinkles, not your soul. All right, so we're going to draw these lines for the cupcake liner. And now for the expression. So I like to move my hand in a circular motion before I put the pencil down onto the paper. All right, so we have a line that curves up. And then now we're going to go ahead and draw the eye. I drew this a little small. I'm going to go back and make it larger later. So now we're going to go ahead and start the nose. You can see it kind of looks like a little bit of a rounded triangular shape upside down. And then we're going to draw a line that curves down. And we're going to draw another line that curves down to create the upper lip. And now we're going to go ahead and draw a line that curves down. We're going to add a little tongue. And then in the corner of the mouth, we're going to curve a line up. Look at that adorable expression. Is it too cute to eat? I think so. All right, so we're going to go ahead and add the ears. So pay attention to the size of these ears in relationship to the head. That's called proportion, size relationships in the drawing. So once again, we're paying attention to the size relationships here. How big is this triangle going to be for the ear? And now this is going to be another drip of frosting coming down off the forehead. We're going to add some little stitches. Little kitties. Frosting had to be stitched back together. Add some more stitches. So we're just using lines. Do another one on the cheek here. And now we're going to add the bolts. He's got bolts, frosting, and 9 lives. It's Frankenstein Cupcake. Someone called the bakery. Science got too creative again. So this is where you put on the jumper cables, kind of like how you start up a car. That's how you start up Frankenstein. Now we have a reanimated Frankenstein Cupcake. And I'm just going to make things easier just using a shape here. So I'm just kind of creating a rectangle. And now's a good time to stand back from your work and make any adjustments as needed. Like I said, I'm going to make that right eye a little bit bigger later on. And I'm just going in with a Sharpie marker for outlining. And then once I'm done outlining, I'm going to go ahead and clean up my work before I start to color with the Posca paint markers. Well, those Posca paint markers worked great. Unfortunately, I lost that part of the video. So I did use apple green and light green. I have purple, light purple, and you can see I'm using colors value to create shadows and highlights as well. Well, I want to thank you guys for joining me today. If you enjoyed this video, I'll see you in the next one. Hi Sketchlab friends, do you want to learn how to draw the cutest spooky treat? Well, in today's tutorial, I'll show you how to draw a zombie cupcake step by step. A fun and easy Halloween art project, perfect for kids, beginners, or anyone who loves creepy cute designs. So we're doing 2 dots and a foreshortened circle, and this is going to start the cylinder of our cupcake. You see these lines are going to taper down, they're going to get closer together at the bottom. We draw this bottom curve, we're curving the line down, we're trying to match the top of the cupcake. Now we're going to go ahead and add the lines for the cupcake liner. So there will be some construction lines today, so the top of this cupcake we're actually going to be erasing off. And now we're just going to draw a basic shape. This is going to be the foundation of the frosting. Alright, now we're going to go ahead and start adding the expression in. So our zombie is going to have one giant eyeball. So I like to move my hand in a circular motion, then I place my pencil on the paper. And our little zombie is going to have little blood vessels showing in his eyes. Now we're going to add a cute little expression. I'm going to add a little smiley face. Draw another little line that curves down. Inside the mouth, I'm going to add a little tooth. And then a little tongue, so I'm going to curve a line up. And then for the other eye of the zombie, I'm going to go ahead and just have one eye closed. So I'm going to curve a line up. Alright, now we're going to go ahead and change the outline of our shape. So you see I curved the line to the right. I'm going to go ahead and curve a line to the right again. It kind of creates that shark fin. And now look at this. I'm going to start curving these lines out to the right. And that's going to create those layers of frosting on top of our zombie cupcake today. And don't forget those gummy worms today. It's going to be awesome. Using these wavy lines, so now we're using overlapping. So that's helping to create space in our drawing. I'm going to go ahead and erase off some of those construction lines, cleaning up my work. And now I'm going to go ahead and start curving these lines out to the left. Once again, creating those layers of frosting. So right here, I'm going to add a little detail where I'm going to be placing a gummy worm. So it kind of looks like I gave it a little eyebrow there. And on top of that spot, I'm going to go ahead and add a gummy worm. I'm going to use some cross contour lines that curve around the form. If I were to draw a straight line, it would make it look flat. You can see those cross contour lines make that cylinder look more three-dimensional. We're going to add another gummy worm. And once again, using those cross contour lines. And we're going to add one more little gummy worm sticking out of the frosting here above the right eye. So don't worry, this zombie cupcake is definitely more silly than scary today. It's sweet, scary, and maybe a little gross, but it's perfect for Halloween. So now's a good time to stand back from your work, make any adjustments as needed. I'm just going to clean up some construction lines before I outline. And today I'm just going to go in with a Sharpie marker. So get ready to grab your Posca paint markers. And if you don't have Poscas, don't worry. I'm basically just using color as value today. So I'll have a light green and a darker green. I'll have a light purple, a dark purple. And I also have pink and a darker red and yellow ochre and orange. So you can see the darker value really helps to add in the shadows. And we're also adding some texture in there, dotting the paint marker. And once again, adding in those shadows. And wow, look at that, guys. I'm going to go back in, outline that with some Sharpie marker. And I'm going to go back and add a little bit more color onto that one gummy worm right there. Bam. Well, hey, guys, I'll catch you in the next video. Bye. Hi, Sketchlab friends. Well, something's brewing in the cauldron tonight, and it's the cutest little witch you've ever seen. So let's bring her to life. We're going to start off with these 2 dots. And then a foreshortened circle. This is going to create the cauldron. There's the foreshortened circle. All right, we're going to start creating the shape of the lip here. So I'm curving line to the left and to the right. So the lip is this top part. So you see that curve? We're going to match that line. We're going to match that curve down. And now we're going to create the base of the cauldron. And I don't think this witch read the fine print on how to use a cauldron, guys. Yeah, because now she's part of her own stew. So we're going to go ahead and draw the little legs, these lines that curve down. But our little witch is bubbling with personality today. She literally is. So we're going to go ahead and add those handles onto the cauldron. Curving lines out to the right. going to go ahead and erase off this construction line. Okay, so I'm going to draw a little dot for where the chin is going to be and where the top of the head is going to be. And now I'm going to start creating the shape of the head. I kind of have the head tilted a bit. And you can turn a shape into a form by using what are called cross contour lines. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to be curving a line out to the left. And so it's going to look like our character has her head turned to the left and her head is kind of tilted up as well. So this circle on the right will be larger. So that's called size. Objects that are closer to us are bigger and they get smaller off into the distance. You can see I'm leaving the little white highlight inside the eye. And so this eye I purposely made smaller. And now that center line of the face will help us to draw the mouth. You'll notice that the right side of the mouth is a little bit larger. Once again, because we're using size. Okay. Adding in the eyebrows, so I'm curving a line up. Yeah, I was gonna say, don't mix slime and cuteness, because side effects may include adorableness overload today. Look at this adorable little witch. So we're gonna start with the witch's hat. So we have the 2 dots. That creates the width of the hat. And now I'm gonna go ahead and curve a line up. And then you can see curve a line down. So now on the left hand side, once again, we're going to curve a line down here. So it's as if we can see the underneath part of the hat. Erasing off some of these construction lines for the top of the head. Now I'm going to curve a line up. So that's the top part of the hat, of the rim of the hat. Now we're going to kind of create that cone shape for the top of the witch's hat. Now I'm going to start to bend the top of the hat, give it a little bit more character. See, pointing the end there. And now this is going to be the buckle. So I'm going to draw basically 2 squares. See this larger square? And then inside I'm going to draw a smaller square. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and use these little lines that curve up here for the bubbles. The slime, whatever this stew is, this poor witch is melting in absolute cuteness too. And now I'm curving lines down. So does that mean this is witch flavored slime today? Okay, so I'm drawing 2 dots, a foreshortened circle. This is going to be creating the sleeve. And out of the sleeve, we're going to draw the witch's hand. Okay, so that's the wrist. And I'm going to draw a little circle. That's going to start the hand. And then we're going to start adding the fingers onto it. Using these little ovals. Okay, so this is the start of the hand. So that circle, once again, is this palm of the hand, and then now we have adding the thumb on. We're going to go ahead and draw the line from the broomstick our witch is holding on to. So I use a zigzag line, curving line up. Now I'm going to go ahead and curve a line out to the right. Now I'm going to curve a line out to the left. Now drawing the top of the broomstick. That's the straw broom. And the last step now is we're just going to add the hair. And once again, erasing off some of these construction lines. Okay, I'm going to erase off some construction lines. And I'm going to add a little detail here. A little whipped cream. So we'll curve a line out to the right and then to the left. On the left-hand side, you can see those lines curve out to the left. Curving out a line to the right. To the right and to the right again. And that's going to create the whipped cream. And then we could also have these cross contour lines that curve around the form and make it look three-dimensional. So now's a good time to stand back from your artwork and clean up any construction lines and make any adjustments that are needed. And then we can move on to outlining. So I did use a Sharpie, but I also needed to use a micron today just for the finer details that this character has. And we're going to be coloring with value today. I'll be using Posca paint markers, but you can color with whatever you have. So today I'll be color mixing with the gray and the black, as you can see here. And the gray is going to create the highlights when I go back over it. The base color on our whipped cream is ivory. And you can see going back, reinforcing the shadows with the black marker. I've got ochre for the straw on the broom. We have apple green for the base color. And I will also use ivory for the highlights and green for the shadows. And we've got to make sure we dial in those rosy cheeks. Now I'm going to go ahead and start cleaning up and refreshing those outlines. And now we have that contrast, making our image readable. Well, I want to thank you so much for drawing with me today. If you've enjoyed this video, watch another one. Well, let's catch the next one. Bye. Ready to get creative this Halloween? Learn how to draw a super cute pumpkin cupcake step by step in this fun and easy tutorial. So we're going to start off drawing the cylinder for the cupcake. So I'm going to draw these 2 dots and a foreshortened circle. We will be using construction lines today, so the top part of this will be erased. All right, let's draw these 2 lines for the side of the cupcake. Oh no! And then we're going to curve a line down. We want that to match the same curve at the top here. And this is the construction line I was talking about. I'm going to erase off. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and add on the top part. It could be the cake part, it could be the frosting. I'm going to curve these lines down. And in between these lines that curve down, that's where we're going to draw the lines for the cupcake liner. So right there, right in between them. And these are going to add a little bit of depth and dimension today when we color them in. So I'm going to start off with an oval shape. So we're going to be drawing the pumpkin in sections today. I'm going to go ahead and curve a line out to the left, keeping that same oval shape idea. On this side, I'm going to curve one out to the right. And by doing this, we're creating overlapping, so the front section looks like it's closer to us. And this is going to help add some depth and dimension to your drawing today. So I'm curving a line out to the right. And then on this side, I'm going to go ahead and curve a line out to the left. All right, we're going to go ahead and add the stem, making it look a little bit organic. And we're ready for the expression. So we're doing this kawaii style and leave a little white highlight inside of the eye. And we're going to add a little smiley face. All right, we're going to go ahead and top this pumpkin with whipped cream. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to draw kind of a cone shape. That's going to establish the size and the placement of where I want the whipped cream. And now at the top, we're going to kind of make a shark fin. So we're going to curve a line out to the left, curving a line out to the left again. Now we're going to start creating the layers. So I'm curving a line out to the right. You have a little bit of a cross contour line there. Curving line out to the right again. So a cross contour line curves around the form. Curving line out to the left. And then once again out to the left, to the left. So now is a good time to go ahead and stand back from your work and make any adjustments as needed. I'm just going to go in with a Sharpie marker today for my outlining. And when it comes to coloring, if you don't have Posca paint markers, that's okay. You can use whatever you have. I'm using gray, and I'm using my white marker to create a medium and a light value of gray. Went in with yellow. I had some ivory to lighten it up, and ochre for the shadows. I've got brown and dark brown. So you notice we're using value today. So I have bright yellow, which is orange, and then dark orange for the shadows on the pumpkin. Adding some little rosy cheeks and just finishing up the outlining. Well, I want to thank you for joining me today. Well, I'll catch you in the next video. Bye. Hi, Sketch friends. Well, can you make a skull look adorable and delicious at the same time? Well, stick around because today we're drawing a creepy, cute ice cream skull with Posca markers. Let's get started. So we're going to start off with the basic shape of the skull. So this is going to create the size and placement of the skull. We're going to draw the skull in 3/4 view today. So I want you to look at this. I'm going to curve a line out to the left. By doing that, it now turns the skull to the left. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and add the eye socket. You can see how low I'm putting it because I want room up top for the drippy ice cream coming down its head. You'll notice that the eye socket on the left-hand side is drawn smaller. So we're using size. Objects that are closer to us are bigger and they get smaller off in the distance. Where that center line is, I'm going to use that to help me with the placement of the nose. Or where the nose would have been. And this image today was actually inspired by one of my students. One of their shirts they came in with. I was like, oh, that's so cool. So you can see I'm now changing the shape a little bit. So I'm curving out a line to the left to add a cheekbone. Gonna go ahead and erase out this construction line. And now for the teeth, I'm basically just curving lines down. And then I'm going to go ahead and add the cheekbone, curving a line out to the right. I'm going to go in and erase out some of these construction lines. All right, we're gonna make it drippy. So this is gonna be the ice cream using these wavy lines. And if you want, guys, you can add sprinkles of doom today. But be careful because this ice cream is so creepy. It might bite back. And you'll notice that this also creates overlapping, which is another method of creating space, making a flat piece of paper appear to be three-dimensional. So we're going to go ahead and erase out these lines here. It almost looks like we added hair in some way. All right, we're gonna go ahead and add the cone now on top. Yeah, skull and a cone, the new flavor of the month. Yeah, I've been eating Handel's ice cream, and I really like their pistachio and their Rocky Road ice cream. Okay, so we have the waffle cone design. You'll notice I used 3 lines. And now I'm gonna go ahead and add the cherry. And obviously you could add your own toppings. You could add the sprinkles of doom. And now it's time for the slime. And this slime is not mint flavored. Trust me, you don't want to taste it. I mean, who knew the afterlife came with the cherry on top? All right, guys, let's outline. I'm just gonna go in with a Sharpie marker. And we go to color today. If you don't have Posca markers, that's okay. Just use what you have. Colored pencils, alcohol-based markers. We're using colors value today. So with the Posca marker, I went in with apricot and brown. Also had some light orange on the lighter side, red and dark red on the cherry. So you can see we have the light pink, and then I'm gonna go in with regular pink, ivory for the waffle cone design, and brown. Going with the pink, adding the shadows. We have beige on the skull, and then apple green, and then green for the shadows. And just refreshing that outline. Well, I hope you enjoyed this fun, strange mashup today. A skull ice cream cone. Well, I'll catch you in the next video. Bye. Hi, Sketch That friends. Ready for a spooky sweet treat? Well, today we're bringing this wacky zombie donut to life. Gross, gooey, and totally cute. So let's draw it step by step. So I created these 2 dots to determine the height of the donut. And as you can see, I curved a line to the left, and then I curved a line out to the right. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and make the drippy frosting on this donut. So I'm just using these wavy lines. And this creates overlapping, which is a method of creating space. Awesome. So who knew that donuts would come back from the dead and still be delicious? So I'm erasing out these construction lines. All right, I'm gonna move my hand in a circular motion, creating the eye. Okay, I'm gonna go in and draw the pupil. I'm gonna leave a little white highlight. Okay, so this is going to be the nose. You can see I'm kind of curving a line up, kind of like an arrow. And we're now going to go in and start drawing the mouth. So I'm curving a line down. I'm going to draw a line that curves up here in the corner of the mouth. So sprinkles are nice on donuts, but slime is gourmet zombie topping. All right, so we're going to draw an oval shape now. And this eye looks like it's swollen shut. He might have gotten pink eye. All right, so this is gonna be its brain. So I'm curving these lines up, curving line out to the left. And curving a few lines down here. Curving a line down and now curving a line up. All right, we're gonna go ahead and add some gummy worms. So I curved the line down, and these gummy worms are sticking out of this donut's forehead. These are called cross contour lines that are curving around the form. And that also makes these worms look three-dimensional. And same thing, this one, we're going to use a cross contour line. So we're curving that line up. We're going to add one more gummy worm on the brain. All right, we're gonna go in and start adding the feet. So I'm gonna draw these two lines down. I'm curving a line out to the left. It's a straight line at the bottom. Yeah, I was gonna say, who needs a jelly-filled donut when you have a brain-filled donut? Man, Yeah, this zombie donut, I think, says, forget brains, pass the frosting. All right, so we're gonna go in and start drawing the arms. So I'm curving these lines out to the left. I'm gonna go ahead and add a little circle. And then I'm going to add the fingers onto this hand. Yeah, I was going to say, this is the best combo meal today, brains and donuts. And I think it's a monster size combo meal. So once again, added the little circle to start the hand, and then we're going to go ahead and add the fingers around it. So using these ovals. Yeah, I think its brains are chewy. This donut is gooey. And we're ready for outlining. So I'm just going to go with the Sharpie marker. All right, so today we're going to be coloring with value. So I have a light pink and then pink. So I have two values there. And I'm going in with fuchsia for those cross contour lines on the worm. I've got ochre, yellow, orange, and red. For the eye, I have ivory and beige. And now I'm in with the apple green. I'm going to create the base color for the slime. And I'm going to use the 3M, which is smaller, to do the little bloodshot eyes. And then I'm going in with green, adding in the shadows. And then for the donut, I'm going to use beige, and I'm going to go in and add brown for the shadows. And I'm going to go in and just start refreshing these outlines. Well, hey, I want to thank you so much for drawing with me today. If you love this Halloween tutorial, go ahead and check out some of my other Halloween how to draw videos. Well, I'll catch you in the next one. Bye. Hey Sketch Lab friends, it's time for some spooky sweet fun. Today, we're turning Frankenstein into a cute drippy ice cream cone, perfect for Halloween. Let's go ahead and draw these two dots. And then we're going to draw this foreshortened circle. This is going to be the top of our ice cream cone. So we're starting off with this cylinder today. We're going to draw these two lines down. And then a key detail, you see this line that curves down? We want to match that. Awesome. And now we're going to go ahead and draw these two diagonal lines down. For our waffle cone. Then I'm going to curve the bottom. We're going to go ahead and erase off this line up top. That's a construction line that we're not going to see. Okay, so we're going to establish the shape of the top of the ice cream. A giant scoop of ice cream on top. Alright, we're going to add a little bit of overlapping here so you can see we're using these lines that are wavy. racing out to that construction line. Kind of going back over the shape again. All right, let's add that expression. So I'd like to get my hand going in that circular motion. Then I put my pencil down on the paper. Same thing on the other side, circular motion. Kind of adjusting the size of this a little bit. All right, we're gonna add a little smiley face. So we're gonna turn this scoop of ice cream into Frankenstein here. So we're gonna add these large oval-shaped eyebrows. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and work on the hair. So add these two diagonal lines, and now we're going to add these zigzag lines. The hair of Frankenstein. Erasing off this construction line. Then we'll add the zigzag line up top. Okay, we're going to add some stitches. Using lines. We'll add another one right here. It's going to add to the character. So the story of Frankenstein, he was actually brought back to life. These two bolts onto the side of his head. This scoop of ice cream here. Franken ice cream today. So we're using cylinders here. Two lines out. Then I'm going to curve a line to the left. Well, they said Frankenstein was scary, but it turns out he's just minty fresh and drippy. We're going to even give him some rosy cheeks. Yeah, don't lick him too fast because he might shock you. Alright, so we're going to get ready to outline. I'm just going to go in today with a Sharpie marker. And And then if you don't have Posca markers, that's okay. You can color with whatever you have. So I'm going to go in with a tinted green. So this is a light green with basically has white added to it. And now I'm going to go in and add the shadows with just the regular green. So we have 2 values of green there. And for the waffle cone, I'm going with apricot. And then I'm going to go in with some brown. The brown's going to add the shadows. Refreshing that outline, making all those details pop. And this is ivory. This is adding that waffle cone texture. I'm going in with that brown, adding in the shadows. Awesome Sketch Lab friends. Well, thank you so much for joining me today. I'll catch you in the next video. Hi Sketch Lab friends. Are you ready to get spooky cute? Well, in this tutorial, I'll show you how to draw a kawaii candy corn cat with bat wings step by step. All right, let's get started. We're going to begin with the shape. It's kind of a gumdrop shape. It's going to be for the body of the cat. All right, now that we got that dialed in, we're going to go ahead and add the cat's ears. So this is where we need to pay attention to our proportions, the size relationships in our drawing. So how big are those ears in relationship to the head? And I'm cleaning up these construction lines. Add that little inner part of the ear. And let's go ahead and add the other ear on now. Finish off the inner ear on this one. Well, this little cat, guys, is proof that candy corn isn't just for eating. It's for flying, too. Of a kitty cat bat candy corn. So we're going to curve these lines down. And this is what's going to make this look a little bit more three-dimensional. It's going to appear to be more of what's called a cross contour line. So it's a line that curves around the form. I think this might be the perfect Halloween snack. We're going to have its little paws. So is this the ultimate Halloween mashup, guys, or is it not? Leave a comment. What do you think would be a cool Halloween mashup? So I'm going to go ahead and start curving this line out for the tail. And now we're going to begin the expression. So we have a little white dot. It's a characteristic of kawaii style characters. And now we're going to go ahead and add in the nose. We're going to draw these two lines that curve down. Add in those little whiskers. All right, we're gonna go ahead and add the bat wings. So you see I'm curving a line down. Now I'm gonna curve a line out to the right. Now I have two lines that are gonna be curving up. And this one curves up. So once again, curving line down, and then I'm curving line out to the left. Now we're gonna have these two lines that curve up. And now's the time to go ahead and erase off construction lines, kind of check out your work. And then now we're ready for outlining. I'm just using a Sharpie marker. And if you don't have Posca markers, it's okay. We're just using color as value today. So I'm gonna have two values of yellow. I'll have two values of orange. And the top of this candy corn, I'm using ivory, which is a light yellow, and I'll be using a beige. So we're putting down a base color. Now I'm gonna go in with a yellow ochre for the darker value, a bright dark orange, and I have beige for the shadow over the ivory. Using navy for the bat wings, and just retouching up those outlines. Well, if you enjoyed drawing with me today, check out my playlist for more fun how to draw videos. Well, I'll catch you in the next one, guys. Bye. Hi, Sketchtime friends. Well, this s'more's got a sweet side and a spooky side. Today we're drawing a s'mores ice cream cone, drippy chocolate, gooey marshmallow, and all the kawaii vibes. Well, let's get started. So we drew two dots in a foreshortened circle, and this is gonna start the cylinder of our ice cream cone. All right, let's go ahead and we're gonna draw two lines down. You see this line that curves down? We're gonna match that. And now we're gonna draw two lines that taper down, they get closer together as it gets near the bottom of the cone. And then once again, we're gonna go ahead and curve a line down. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and erase off this construction line for the top of the cone. Okay, we're gonna draw two dots. This is gonna determine the width of the marshmallow for our s'mores ice cream cone. And then once again, we're gonna match this line that curves down. All right, these two vertical lines create the height of our marshmallow. And once again, where these two dots are, we're gonna draw a foreshortened circle. All right, let's go ahead and start the expression. We're gonna go ahead and leave these little white dots in for a highlight. Well, he's drippy, he's gooey, and he might roast you if you get too close. It's got drips, chocolate, and just enough chaos to make your sweet tooth scream. So I'm gonna angle these eyebrows. By angling the eyebrows, it makes them look a little bit more angry. adds to this expression we're creating. And then let's go ahead and draw the mouth. I'm going to curve a line down here. And yes, we have vampire teeth. Forget vampires. This s'mores, the real snack that bites. All right, here we go. We're going to make this chocolate ice cream dripping over the edge of our ice cream cone. And this is overlapping. This is a method of creating space, making a flat piece of paper appear to be three-dimensional. So we're using these wavy lines. Gotta make it drippy, bro. Let's go ahead and erase out some of these construction lines now. Now I'm just going to make a little wavy line at the bottom of the marshmallow so it looks like it's sinking in to this chocolate. And just so you know, guys, calories don't count when it's art. So I'm only using just a few diagonal lines across. And now it's time for the graham cracker bat wings. So I'm curving a line to the right, and now I'm going to curve a line up. Curving line out to the left. Curving line out to the left again. And then now curving a line up. Okay, let's go ahead and add the details into this bat's wing. Drawing these lines down. Awesome. And now we're going to go ahead and work on the other side. So once again, curving line out to the left, and then curving line up. All right, now I'm going to go ahead and curve a line out to the right. Curving a line out to the right again. And now curving line up. And then once again, going in, adding little details inside of the wing. Well, now's a good chance to stand back from your work, make any adjustments as needed, and then we're going to go in and outline. I'm just going to go in with a Sharpie marker. I'll be coloring with Posca markers today, but you can use whatever you have. We're using color as value today, so I'm using ivory, which is a light yellow. And then for the shadow, I'm going in with beige. I'm using cacao brown and dark brown, and the highlights will be beige on the chocolate. Using beige and brown for those graham cracker wings outlining with some dark brown. And for the ice cream cone, I have apricot. I'm doing ivory and then brown for the shadows. I'm gonna go in and tighten up my outlining. Well, hey, if you had fun drawing with me today, check out my other Halloween how to draw videos. Well, I'll see you in the next video. Bye. Hi, Sketch That friends. Well, what happens when your midnight snack grows fangs? Well, let's draw this creepy, cute werewolf cupcake. It's fluffy, fierce, and full of frosting. So we're gonna draw these 2 dots and then a foreshortened circle, and this is gonna start the base of the cupcake. The 2 lines on the side of the cupcake are gonna taper down. That means they're gonna get closer together at the bottom. You see this line that curves down? We're gonna go ahead and match that line that curves down. Now we're gonna go ahead and draw the lines on the cupcake liner. And now I'm gonna go ahead and we're gonna add the overlapping. So this is kind of like the cake layer overlapping the cupcake liner with these lines that curve down. So now is a good time to erase off some construction lines. Yeah, I was gonna say, this is what happens when your midnight snack bites back. So we're gonna start off with this 2 dots, determines the height of the head of our werewolf's head. And you can see we curved a line to the left and then to the right. And we're using these basic shapes to establish the size and placement of the head and the hands here, this little paws. And in art, we call that proportions, size relationships in the drawing. Now that we've established those proportions, we're going to curve a line out to the left. We're going to be drawing this werewolf in 3/4 view. So just by curving a line to the left, we're able to now turn its head to the left. This eye on the right will be larger because objects that are closer to us are bigger and they get smaller off in the distance. Yeah, I think the only full moon this cupcake cares about is the one made of icing. And if you listen closely, you can hear it growling for sprinkles. So you can see the shape of the nose is kind of like a rounded triangle. I'm gonna go ahead and curve a line down. And this side, same thing, curving a line down. The right side of the mouth is going to be larger than the left side because once again, it's closer to us. And this cupcake's about ready to grow some serious fangs. Let's go ahead and finish off the shape of the mouth. Here's our first fang, and then this one here is going to be a little bit smaller. This Werewolf Cupcake is half snack, half menace, and 100% adorable. Just don't leave it out during a full moon. So now we have the tongue drawn. And I'm going to go ahead and start erasing off some of these construction lines. And then this eye is going to be drawn a little bit smaller. Well, if you have any more ideas for Halloween drawings, go ahead and drop those in the comments. And we used a little bit of overlapping because the eye is behind the snout. Okay, I'm going to curve a line out to the right. Now I'm curving these lines to create the little claws. I'm going to curve a line up. Once again, making the little claws. And curving line up. And curving line out to the right and then to the left to create the claw. Same thing on this one. Yeah, guys, this cupcake did not come from the bakery. I think it escaped from it. Definitely escaped. All right, so here's the triangle for the first year. Once again, this one's going to be larger because it's closer to us. And then this triangle is going to be smaller. Yeah, don't worry, this werewolf only bites if you forget the frosting. All right, now we're going to go ahead and start creating the fur texture. So you can see how the fur is facing one direction. It's pointed in one direction to the right. And now you can see we're still facing or pointing the fur in the same direction. Now you can see it's kind of pointing kind of down to the right. Now we're kind of pointing down to the left. See, these ones are kind of pointing down and to the right. And now's a good time to stand back from your artwork, make any adjustments as needed. Can you erase off any construction lines you have? Now I'm going to give this a cool, mean expression. So when you angle the eyebrows like this, it makes them look kind of more angry and meaner. So now our werewolf looks a little bit scarier. If you want it to be kind of more of a cute, you can maybe like just use a line that curves up for little eyebrows. And now I'm going to add a little bit more fur texture. So I'm just using some lines. You can see I'm pointing these lines in the same direction as the hair is pointing once again. And now we got to add that tail. So I'm curving a line out here to the right. And And now once again, we're going to point the hair in the same direction as we're going up here. It's kind of pointing up and to the right. Adding a little bit of line here for texture. And it's going to erase off some construction lines, and then we're getting ready to outline. So I'm just going to outline with a Sharpie marker. And whenever you outline with a Sharpie marker, we're now creating contrast. It means we're making this readable, kind of like black words on a white piece of paper. And this gives us another chance to kind of refine our drawing and go back over the outline. I'm going to be coloring using value today. I'm starting off with brown. These are Posca paint markers that I'm using. And obviously you could use whatever you have. If you have just regular markers, colored pencils. This is the pink coral, some red. I'm going with some ivory. Now in the cupcake, I have light orange and orange. And I'll do the shadow with the red orange. Going with some turquoise. I start off with some gray and a little bit of black. So I did a little bit of color mixing to create a little bit of a sheen on the nose, a little white highlight. And this is the cacao brown, going back over that fur texture and creating the shadows. And now as you can see, as we start putting back that black outline, all of our original drawing details are now readable. Once again, that is called contrast. Well, I want to thank you so much for drawing with me today. If you enjoyed this lesson, go ahead and watch another video. Well, I'll see you in the next one. Bye. Hi, Sketch Lab friends. Are you ready for a spooky sweet treat? Well, today we're drawing the cutest candy corn drink, perfect for Halloween. So we're going to start off with these 2 dots, and then we're going to draw a foreshortened circle. This is going to start the cylinder for our milkshake. Now we're going to work on the lip of the cup. We're going to add some thickness by curving this line out to the left, and now we're curving this line out to the right. You see this line that curves down? We want to match that when drawing the lip of our cup. Okay, let's go ahead and we'll draw some lines down. They're going to taper down a little bit, get closer together. And we're going to match that same line that curves down, the same one at the top of the cup. And we have our cylinder. Good job. We're going to go ahead now and work on the expression. I'm going to leave a little white highlight inside of the eye, because we're doing these kawaii style today. If you want, you could add your own fun, playful expression onto your character. And then we're going to finish off that expression with a little smiley face. Now we're going to match that line that curves down again. And one more time. I'm going to go ahead and erase off this construction line. I'm going to start the top of this milkshake with a line that curves up. So this is establishing the size and the placement that we want. And now we're going to go ahead and change the outline of the shape. So I'm going to go ahead and curve a line out to the right and then back to the left. Kind of like an S curve. And then I'm curving a line out to the right on this side. And now I'm curving the line out to the left, and once again to the left. And now on this side, we're curving the line out to the right. We are flying along today. I hope you're enjoying our Halloween themed drawings and the fun music too. I love Halloween. So there you have it. We curve a line up for the top of the straw. It makes it look more three-dimensional. And I'm going to go ahead and add some lines onto the straw. Well, now's a good time to stand back from your artwork and make any adjustments as needed. And then we're going to go ahead and move on to outlining. I'm just going to go in with a Sharpie marker. I'm using ivory. Put down a base color first, which is light yellow. Now I'm going in with bright yellow, which in the Posca paint marker set is basically looks like orange. And now I'm going to go in with yellow. Now for the shadows, I'm going in with beige over the ivory. I'm going to go in with a dark orange, and then ochre is going to be the darker yellow. And you can see with just two values today, look how much more three-dimensional our awesome candy corn milkshake turned out. Wow. Well, good job, guys. Well, I hope you join me in the next video. Check out the playlist for more awesome Posca marker tutorials. I'll catch you in the next one. Bye. Ready for some spooky sweet fun? Well, today we're drawing an adorable Halloween Bat Cupcake in kawaii style with bold Posca markers and step-by-step tips. You'll learn how to make your cupcake look extra cute, drippy, and ready for trick-or-treat season. So let's grab your markers and let's get drawn together. So you see we're going to draw these two dots and then a foreshortened circle. This is going to start the cylinder for the base of our cupcake. These two lines taper down. That means they're going to get a little bit closer together at the bottom. And now the key detail here is we're trying to match that curve at the top. We want to match that curve down the best we can. Now I'm going to go ahead and erase off this construction line. So we're building with shapes and forms today. We may have some construction lines we erase. All right, so we're going to start off with a basic shape for the top of this cupcake. And now we're going to go ahead and change the outline of it. So that basically just established the size and placement of the top of the cupcake. And now at the top here, you see I'm curving a line out to the left. I'm going to do that again, curving the line out to the left. And you can see how I'm following that guideline down. And once again, just curving it out to the left. Curving line out to the left again. We're going to draw these lines that curve down. So this is the actual cupcake itself. We have the frosting on top of that. Once again, I'm going to go in and start erasing off some construction lines. Fumble. All right, so at the top here, you can see I'm going to curve a line out to the left, And I'm going to bring it out to the right. Kind of like an S. And once again, you're just going to curve a line out to the right here. All right. So now we're going to start turning this into the character today. So we're drawing this awesome Halloween Bat Cupcake. So we're going to do this kawaii style. So we're going to leave a little white dot, little white highlight inside of the eye. And this is a little vampire bat. So we're going to give it a little smiley face, and then we're going to use these 2 triangles here to finish off the teeth. Add in those rosy cheeks. Yeah, this definitely isn't your average snack. It's part cupcake, part bat, and it's all kawaii. All right, guys, it's time for the bat wings. I'm going to go ahead and curve a line out to the right. Careful with those wings, guys. This cupcake might just fly off your paper. So we're going to curve a line up. You can see, once again, curving line out to the left. Now this one is getting curved, once again, out to the left. So I want you to pay attention to the direction I'm curving these lines. So this one's curving out to the right now. And once again, back out to the right. This last one, little one curved up. Well, now's a good time, like I said, to stand back from your work, make adjustments as needed, and now we're going to go ahead and outline. I'm just using a Sharpie marker. The good thing about Sharpie markers is they don't bleed. If sometimes with some markers, the Posca paint marker can pick up that bottom color. So I'm going to have 3 values of purple today. So I got this purple, the dark purple, adding in some shadows with the dark purple, and adding in some highlights with the light purple. So 3 values there. Navy blue on the wings, and some gray and red. Just re-outlining, and we're there. Well, hey guys, I want to thank you for joining me today. If you want to check out some more of these awesome Halloween drawing videos, check out the playlist. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.